What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about contract to close when you're representing the buyer. So what contract to close means is whenever you submit an offer, it gets accepted. What is the process in order to get to the closing table? That's what we're talking about today. Go ahead and grab your notebooks, take some good notes, and let's get started. So scenario, you've been out showing property to your client. They're ready to put an offer on the property. So what do you do from there in order to get to the closing table? The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to get your buyer to understand the components of the contract. So things like, what do they want to keep? What do they want to get rid of? The price, when to close, the closing costs, deposits, home warranty, deadlines, buyer's compensation. All of those things are going to be written into the offer. Once you've written an offer with your client, you're going to let them know that once this offer is submitted, the seller can either accept it, decline it, or counter it. If they counter the offer, they're going to send over a counter offer form, and the counter offer form is going to be what their terms are based on your offer. So if you offered a certain price, they may ask for more, ask for less. If you ask for a certain amount of money in closing costs, they may ask for less, may ask for more, whatever the case may be. So this is going to be the first of 3 negotiation points in this contract. Once you guys go back and forth and you guys come to an agreement on all of the terms, once we have all of the buyer signatures and the seller signatures, we are now under contract. This is an executed contract. So once everything is agreed upon, you're going to contact whatever title company you guys have agreed to close with, along with the lender, to let them know that you're under contract. They're going to need a copy of the buy-sell agreement with all signatures. So be sure to get the emails of the lender and the title company so you can send them over this contract along with your client's information. Now we're moving into the inspection period. Be sure to let your buyer client know that the inspection period starts the day after the offer is accepted. So if the offer is accepted January 1, the inspection period starts January 2. During the inspection period, the buyer can get whoever they want to come out and check the home out. They can get home inspectors, pest inspectors, water inspectors, a roofer, HVAC, whoever they want to get out to check the property out for any issues whatsoever. They can get those people out, and it's going to be at their expense unless agreed upon otherwise. Now, one main thing that I want to point out to you guys to be very mindful of and to make sure that you're doing, which is great practice, communication is going to be key when you're representing the buyer, because you have to make sure that the buyer is meeting their deadlines. You're going to have to make sure the title company and the lender are both getting all of the information that they need from your client. So when it comes to representing a seller or representing the buyer's agent has a lot more legwork to do on their end. So the buyer gets all of the inspectors out there that they need to get out, and the inspectors send over their reports. Now what you're going to do is you're going to get what's called the buyer's response to property inspection. And on this buyer's response to property inspections, you're going to list out all of the things that the buyer wants taken care of with the property. This is where the second part of the negotiation is going to come in throughout this process. Be sure to let your buyer know that the seller does not have to agree to fix any of the items that you're asking to be repaired. The seller can agree to fix all, fix some, fix none, lower the sales price, or offer you a credit to get whatever items you want to get taken care of with the amount that they're going to give you. So be mindful when you're writing the offer initially. If the seller is having to come out of pocket quite a bit, the more that you ask for, the more likely it is for them to decline in most cases. But you being the buyer's agent, all you can do is give them that information, let them make the decision, and then you send over what it is that they're asking for. After you submitted the buyer's response, and after the back and forth, if there's any, once everyone comes to an agreement, now we're going to move to the appraisal. It is your responsibility in a lot of cases, depending on the lender that you're working with, to contact them and let them know that they can go ahead and order the appraisal. The lender is going to send out a completely random appraiser. The buyer does not get a say-so in that, but the cost of the appraisal is going to be on the buyer unless agreed upon otherwise. During the appraisal process, this is the third place where you're going to negotiate during this process. In the event that the appraisal comes back less than what you guys originally agreed upon, the buyer has the option, depending on the loan type, to either walk or request that the sales price get lowered to the appraised value if you put in a contract that the offer was contingent upon the appraisal. Now, the seller doesn't have to agree to drop the sales price. Depending on how much it's dropped, the seller's agent is going to see what they can do to get that price back up, but that's on their end. We discussed that in the seller's video. So for this video, if the appraisal comes in lower, you go back in and renegotiate. If the appraisal comes in at the price that you guys offer, great. If it comes in over, even better, you guys don't have to go back in and renegotiate. So after the appraisal process, you've been communicating with the lender and the title company. They have all of the documents that they need. Now we're going to start moving towards the final walkthrough. Now, during the final walkthrough, you and your buyer are going to walk back through the property to make sure that all of the items that the seller agreed to fix were taken care of and that there are no new or hidden damages that you guys didn't see originally. You're going to want to make sure that the home is in the same or better condition than it was prior to the final walkthrough. Now, at this point, we're about 5 days out from closing. The lender is going to be getting together the final numbers to let your buyer know what they need to bring to closing financially, if anything, and getting the last minute signatures on the documents that they need. You, as the buyer's agent, if this is going to be your first closing, it's going to be a little bit nerve-wracking. Your purpose of going to closing is to make sure that the process goes smoothly. So in order to do that, what I recommend you doing as a buyer's agent is I recommend you go ahead, print out the documents that the buyer and the seller have signed, print all of those documents out and take those to closing with you. So in the event that something comes up, a document is needed or is missing, you can go ahead and provide that to them while you're there. But as far as signatures and everything else goes, you may have to sign as a witness in a couple of spots, but for the most part, you're just there making sure the process goes smooth. Also, a little bit before you guys get to closing, talk to your buyer client and make sure that they know to go ahead and get the utilities turned on. Let them know that at closing is when they gain possession of the property. So all keys, gate openers, garage openers, any type of access to the home, combinations of anything, all of that is going to be transferred at closing. So once all documents are signed, all keys are handed over, the title company is going to check funding, cut the checks, and you're good to go. Now, some practices that you want to make sure that you're doing as the buyer's agent, one of the things you want to make sure that you let your clients know is that once they submit an offer, they can't submit another offer on another property unless they're potentially wanting to purchase 2 properties. There are times where you're going to have buyers who submit an offer and they have FOMO, fear of missing out, and they're going to want to go look at other properties while they have an offer on the table already. So it's going to be your responsibility to make sure that you're managing them and letting them know that we need to cease all actions until we get a word back on this offer. And the other thing that you're going to want to do with your buyers is make sure that they do not come into any new debt during this process that would mess up or change anything dealing with their finances. You, as the buyer's agent, you're essentially going to be a therapist and a babysitter for most buyers, being first-time home buyers throughout this process. So keep the communication open. Make sure that you're familiar enough with it to be able to communicate it with them in a way that brings them peace, and just continue to be the mediator for any other issues. That's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, leave me a comment down below. If you found any value in this video whatsoever, please do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to work hard, stay focused, and be elite. And as always, thanks for watching.